When the garbage truck of life comes, make compost. All right? The garbage, I don't care. You are really good looking, but I don't care how good looking you are. The garbage truck is coming. And it's going to dump its load in your life. And it may be in drought, it may be in rain, it just may be your kids or whatever it is. And that's when you make the big decision whether or not you're going to live with it or you're going to do what I do. And I love to make compost out of garbage. I love to make compost out of garbage. And sometimes it sneaks up on you. I was out, and I'll never forget, I was out in Nebraska doing a credit union conference one time. And after dinner, I did a speech. And after dinner, they had two choices. You could get some play money and gamble. They had a gambling casino kind of set up for them. And I don't do that. I don't like that. I'm not going to editorialize on it. But they also had a country western band. They went in the lounge, and I love music, and I love country. I'm sitting there, and I'm Texas two-stepping beneath the table, and I'm jitterbugging on top of it. I'm really getting a kick out of it. And one of these nice young ladies all of a sudden said, "David, would you like to dance?" I said, "I'd love to dance. I'd love to dance." I jumped up and I looked out on the dance floor, and there was not one male out there. Kearney, Nebraska was a college town. They had two lines with these girls. You know, and you're dancing down the road, and you're going down there, and you come around and you dance with somebody else. Well, this body was in its prime in about 1967. Back then, if you remember back then, typical song lasted for 2.5 minutes. And you could sit down. Wake Up a Little Susie's 2 minutes and 17 seconds. But today there's some of these bands that can take a little snippet of a tune and they can stretch it out for 18 minutes. I'm out there on the dance floor. I was 62 years of age at that time. I was sweating like a stuck pig at 7 minutes, and I know pigs don't sweat. I'm going into cardiac arrest at about 11 minutes. But I finished 18 minutes later. I'm walking back to my table. And I got run over by a garbage truck. The bumper of which was the finger that tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around. There was this delightful young girl who looked at me and with all the sincerity in the world said, "Gee, mister, you are really good for your age." She said, "I wish my daddy could dance as good as you." Pow! I could have. But what do you do? Go back to your table and slug down another PBR and think life sucks and isn't fair? I laughed. I put it aside. Sort of. But I did get up next morning. I said, "Good morning, Lord." I didn't get up and say, "Good Lord morning." I put it away and I processed the garbage, and I got on the plane and went down to Texas and had the greatest moment of speaking I've ever had in my life. Nothing will ever touch that. Like this banquet will never ever touch another banquet. I'm down talking to the Texas Home Economic Teachers Association, 430 female home economic teachers, about 5 guys, my kind of audience. Everything was perfect that night. They served French onion soup for over 400 people, and it was so hot you had to wait for it to cool down. Never seen that at a banquet. Sound system was perfect. You had a great sound team over here. Lights, perfect. Everything was well. I did a humorous banquet speech that night. Next morning, I'm doing a 3-hour session on managing change and chaos. I get up, I'm on the 14th floor, Dallas Hyatt Airport Hotel. I get on there, I get down about the 12th floor, door opens, and 2 young teachers come on board. They come on board, and we're visiting. We got down to about the 5th floor. Stops, door opens, and 2 young yuppie salesmen, these sales stallions from IBM, came on board. You know, these are the kind of young guys that sort of look you over like your last week's news. And, you know, they got the $600 suits and the Gucci shoes and, you know, and the Swiss watches. And they sort of looked me over and they didn't say anything. That didn't bother me much. And then I got the greatest gift. And if I hadn't been in the right mood, I would have missed it. Got down the library, the lobby, and the 2 women are leaving. The 3 young guys are going down to the convention center, conference center, 1 floor down. The 2 women are leaving, and one of them turned and gave me the greatest gift I've ever given. She looked at me and she said, "David, I just hope you realize how good you were last night." Honest to God, true story. She said, "That was one of the best evenings I've ever spent in my entire life." And at that moment, the other teacher turned around and she said, "And that goes ditto for me." And then, like Ozzie Smith, she knocked it out of the park when she said, "I just can't wait to get home and try out some of those techniques on my husband." And 3 jaws hit the floor. Here we're looking at this old fart, you know, he's sitting there, and, you know, they wonder, how the heck did he do? They don't say a word. They don't say a word. We go down to the ground floor, I mean the basement floor. I start to leave, and I know I shouldn't have done it, but it was that old Baptist in me. I had to. I just turned and looked at him, and I said, guys, what can I say? What can I say? They just looked at me. And all of a sudden the elevator doors shut and took them upstairs. And I said, yes! Life is good. And life is good. Make the compost, okay?